We are sold authenticity as if it were a brand, like a vintage font or textured noise in a studio track. But what we're really buying is not originality, but an imitation of it. Handwriting plugins, muddy eye humanizers, and grain overlays don't create history. They simulate the look of it. They offer aura without origin, uniqueness without memory. Benjamin described this as the death of aura. Not because art becomes mass-produced, but because our sense of its sacred distance begins to erode. The paradox, only by faking authenticity. We've long known that authenticity is performative. Think of Renaissance art or medieval relics. What algorithmic culture reveals is how far we'll go to sustain the illusion, even when the original has vanished entirely. Handwriting apps don't just mimic ink on paper. They promise intimacy in a world of cold interfaces. The aura no longer comes from origin, but from repetition, not authenticity as truth, but authenticity as effect. In this new logic, trust doesn't vanish, it shifts.
Digital media has revolutionized artistic practice by expanding access to tools, audiences, and collaborative possibilities, enabling.
Roland Barthes once said that what makes a photograph unforgettable is not just its subject, but the punctum, that jarring detail which pierces our memory. But in algorithmic culture, even the punctum can be manufactured by machines to create convincing fakes at scales, when every image has the potential to be an illusion. How do we distinguish between truth and fabrication? The evidentiary power of original photographs is collapsing under the weight of AI, generated images, and deepfakes. What remains is not just a cultural shift, it's an ontological one. Baudrillard had warned us that in hyperreality, the distinction between real and fake dissolves completely. Today we live in a world where filters on Instagram and AI art tools don't mimic reality, they perform it. These aren't nostalgic attempts to return to realism, but part of a new aesthetic regime built entirely out of artifact simulation. The machine doesn't just copy, it composes, invents, refines. It creates a world that feels real not because it. The punctum is now a design element, algorithmically inserted into media to create emotional resonance. We no longer trust the original because we can't be sure there ever was one in the first place. What matters is how convincingly it performs its role as evidence, regardless of origin. In this world, authenticity becomes a function, not of history or authorship, but of technical execution and machine logic. The death of the original isn't an endpoint. It's just another phase in the evolution of trust itself.
Certainly vision systems, I think we have a lead over the Japanese and perhaps some of the other sensory areas. But it's becoming a world business. And
the machine doesn't just copy us anymore. It imitates our flaws, our quirks, even how we make mistakes. If you've ever listened to MIDI eye tracks that sound like they were played by hand, you've encountered humanization algorithms at work. These systems inject randomness into digital beats, not to mimic reality, but to feel real. The goal isn't truth anymore. It's the illusion of once having been made by someone, not something. Just this week, a new AI-generated film called Dreams of Violets was created in just 2 months at the cost of $2,000. That's not impressive for what it shows. It's what it hides, how many human hands were involved. The industry is training AI to include tiny imperfections in voice cloning and handwriting. Why? Because we trust a slightly misspelled email more than perfect grammar from an unknown source. Authenticity now lives in the error margin. But here's the twist. We don't want machines to be perfect. We want them to pretend they were real once upon a time. This is the new frontier of simulation, not just making things that copy life, but making things that feel like they remember being alive. It's not about faking authenticity anymore. It's about replacing the original with its convincing ghost.
Celia never received the recognition she deserved.
No, I don't think she is really recognised for the work that she did.
The future of authenticity lies not in preserving what was real, but in managing perception through code. This is where we see the rise of tools that generate synthetic content at scale, deepfakes, AI writers, algorithmic curators, building our taste profiles for us. We're no longer fighting to preserve originals. We are training machines to convincingly reproduce and replace them. The real becomes a function not of uniqueness, but of convincing repetition.